Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay, Ruckelshaus at Threshold of Hineni, and I felt like journaling tonight. I mean, I try to every day. I try to work on my journals a little bit every day because it just really calms me down and helps me to sleep better. So I thought I would work on the Abraham journal a little bit. I had a couple of others that I've been working on kind of throughout the day in the kitchen while I sat and talked with Bill. But here at my desk, I thought that I would work on this, so I thought I'd turn on the camera. It's going to be a little bit different angle today because of the light, because it's already dark outside, or almost dark. And so if I have my camera where I normally do, then I get a shadow from it. So we're going to try it this way, see if it'll work. What I want to do today is make some cards, journaling cards, to go in the various pockets that we have. And I haven't planned out what I'm going to do. I just pulled out a bunch of materials, and let me see, I can put my journal over here, I think, get it out of the way. And so I'll kind of show you what I've got. I have a bunch of stuff that I had printed out back when we first started this, and it got really curly because of the humidity. You might remember that. And I forgot to put it underneath something to get it all straightened out. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it underneath the box because I've had it under stuff for about half an hour, but that hasn't taken care of it. So we may not be using it in this journal. We may use it someplace else. I also pulled out a bunch of scraps that I had saved that would be big enough for collaging or franken paper or pockets, stuff like that. Okay, I have some of that Maladon paper that I told you I really like. I only got out a couple pieces just to kind of remind me that they're there, but we may use more of that. I have in our bedroom, I saw this worn corner of this golden kind of stuff turned down like this on our bedroom table, and I loved that color, so I just tore out that part of the page because it's an old Tennessee magazine, and we haven't looked at it for a long time, so I'm sure it's okay for me to use. I had this paper that I thought is the right color. I have some stuff that it's just paper, but it looks like corrugated cardboard. I think it was from an envelope. And I have some coffee dyed 3x5 cards and some cut up with pinking shears 3x5 cards that are coffee dyed. So we can use those different things. And then I have some, oh, here's some more scraps. So that can go here with these. Kind of try to take inventory of what I have and get stuff out. I have, this is franken paper that is actually from this journal. This is some franken paper from another journal, but with similar colors. And then I have some other stuff that I had already printed out. I don't think that I've used this verse yet, or either of these. I have to check and make sure. So those would also make good journaling cards. And then I went through my PDF and I printed out, oh, here's more scraps. And I printed out other pictures that we haven't used yet that I have in the PDF of various things in Israel and everything that I could use as journaling cards. So let's figure out what we want to do. I think I'm going to start with some of these because I really want to use them in there. They're not things that I would probably use anyplace else. I'm going to set these aside for now, but they're still where I can see them. And I'm going to, I guess I'll just cut these by hand. They're pretty straightforward. So anyway, so what we're doing right now, just so that you know, is I'm cutting what's going to be journaling cards. And you can print, to make it easier, if you have like cardstock or a nice heavy paper, you could print these pictures directly on something like that. And then all you'd have to do is cut them out, and you know, if you want to cut the corners or round the corners or ink the edges, you could do that, but you'd pretty much have it already made. But since I don't have any cardstock or heavy paper, I am doing what I normally do, which is I'm cutting out individual pieces. And sometimes I use my paper cutter, but tonight I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not going to. I was using the paper cutter like most of the afternoon and inking pages for another journal that I'm working on. So I'm kind of tired of using the paper cutter. You know, your arm gets tired. I have one of those guillotine style paper cutters, and after a while your arm just gets kind of tired of doing it. So, oh, I didn't bring my file folder over here. I have a file folder for things that need to be coffee dyed, and I'm saving scraps like this. Yeah, things like about that big for coffee dyeing. But my file folder is not over here right now. Yeah, it's not over here right now. So I'm going to cut out a couple more of these. I don't want you to have to just watch me cut out papers. And I don't know how far we'll get on these tonight. I would like to keep it to less than half an hour because, I mean, my phone used to shut off after 11 minutes and 18 seconds. Now it goes to 30 minutes, so I'm grateful for that. I can't see how much time it is so far, though. Well, we'll just try to keep it down. And if this seems to cut off, then just know that that's what happened and that there will be a part B. Because it keeps recording, it just splits the recording into two for some reason. It's just really weird. It's like 30 minutes and some odd seconds. So I don't know if anybody knows why it does that, and you can let me know. And if there's something I can do to change it, then that would be great. Otherwise, just look for a part B if it goes to more than 30 minutes. And because I'll usually, you know, post those on the same day, maybe 15 minutes apart or something, just that they're not posting at the same time and confusing you. Okay, so these are all pretty dark, so I'm not going to bother with inking them except this one here, I think, because it's light on the edges. And I got some blue distress ink, you guys. It's really fun because I'm doing an ocean, actually lagoon themed journal right now, and so I thought that the blue would be really cool for the edges, and it is really neat. So, but I don't think it would be appropriate for this. If I have some time, I might just show you what it looks like on a piece of paper or something. So, okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just inking the edges, and this is too thin to really use as a journaling card. It would just get munched. So, and you know, and it's white on the back, so you could journal on it, but you know, because I want everything in here looking kind of old, I'm going to put something on the back of it. I'm not sure what yet. We will look through what we have and we'll put something on the back. Okay, so that's the only one that needs to be distressed. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will clip my corners. I'll go ahead and do one right now. I try to make them as close to the same as possible. And I've actually, I took Gail Augustinelli's idea of cutting off the corner of an old credit card that I use as kind of a template sometimes, but I'm better at eyeballing it now, so I don't usually do that. Another thing that I sometimes will do is I will just like round the corners, and there's actually a punch that you can get that will do that. That is kind of one of my dreams, is to get that punch, because you just stick it in there, kind of like sticking it into a stapler, and it rounds the corners for you, which is just really nice. And if my voice sounds funny, you guys, it's because I'm just getting over a cold. I've had a really bad cold all week. I've been completely miserable. But again, doing this journaling, working on various journals, has helped a lot. It's just very calming to me to work on these. And so, yeah. So, and you know, you can see they take a long time to do, so it's not like I'm producing gigantic numbers of journals that I don't know what to do with or anything. I only have a few that I don't know what to do with. Actually, they're in my Etsy shop. Okay, so I have these, and like I said, you don't have to cut the corners or anything. I just kind of like to. Okay, so let's do several different things. One thing that's really easy to do, oh, by the way, okay, so this is an olive tree. You know that there are lots and lots of olive trees in Israel. And this is also an olive tree. I am like horribly, horribly allergic to olive trees when they're in bloom. My eyes itch really badly. We used to live in an apartment complex in California that had tons of olive trees, and I thought I was going to die. or tear my eyes out. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that on the back of this one. And what I do is I make the paper that I'm going to glue on the back a little bit smaller than the paper that's on the front. Did I just cut through? I did. No, I didn't. Okay, good. I thought I cut through my original paper. And I'm leaving the holes there. I like that. I think that's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and ink the back of this. And I'll use this to protect my table. I don't really care if I get ink on my table, but the problem is that if I get ink on the table, then it gets onto whatever I put on the table. So I'm just doing around the edge where it's going to show, so it doesn't look like this stark white thing against the brown, because since, you know, I'm going for it to look kind of old, I don't want stark white, right? So I'm just using some of this ink and I'm just kind of rubbing it on there. Okay, and it doesn't have to be really dark or anything. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna sew it on. You can glue it on. You could even staple it. I mean, if you wanted to staple it like in the corners or something, you could do that, just so that you can still write on it, because the idea is to be able to write on the back. Okay, so I'm going to wait and sew all these at the same time. I'll sew 4 of them at once. Okay, so that's one that's ready. And for another one, let's use some of this. Okay, this was for my first time that I coffee stained stuff. Do you see that cool design on it? And I put it on my table in my classroom, and it has that, you know, it's a wire table, and I didn't really think about it, and it just made that design, and I think it's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to cut this, and definitely keep the scrap. Okay, and I think that I'll just quickly do the edges of this so it looks nice on there, and I'm also going to do some ink around the edges of this. Okay, now see how I'm doing it on the back of one of these pictures? That way when I cut this out, you know, it'll be less that I have to ink. I don't know if it's my Mennonite upbringing or the fact that I was poor for most of my adult life, that I am really really careful about not wasting things. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I think it drives Bill a little crazy, but but he puts up with it. He's so sweet. He's a good man, and he's at Walmart right now working. He says he enjoys it, but I just, you know, he's 78. I don't like him to have to work. I think he should be able to retire. And hopefully eventually he can. Okay, so he's just working part-time, but still it's quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to, and he never complains, you guys. I'm the only one who's whining about it. Okay, so we're going to put that here like that, and that gives us some space to write on that one. And then this one, let's kind of look at our scraps. Oh, here we've got this. This would be good. Okay, so, and you can cut or tear, you know. A lot of times I just tear. I don't know why I'm cutting so much tonight, but I am. And this already has straight edges, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut. I actually have my air conditioner turned on too low, and I'm getting cold, which is very unusual for me. I never get cold. I'm always way too hot. And it's not menopause either. It's just how I have always been. Always been very warm-blooded. Okay. And, you know, as you can see, I don't worry about making it all perfect or anything. In fact, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put something kind of catty corner like this so that it's not all perfect and everything. And I may do that with some of these, but I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like the style of this notebook so much, of this journal, but we'll see. Okay, so I want to round around the edges on this one too, so that it's not going to be all bright white sticking out from there. And just in case you've missed any of the previous videos, this is Distress ink. It's Tim Holtz Ranger Vintage Photo, and I love it. I really, really do. It's so easy to use, and I got a refill ink thing, so I just put more ink on the pad today. I'm not sure that it really needed it, but I kind of wanted it to be juicier, so I did that. Okay, so that'll look good. I want it to, you know, kind of blend in because I want to be able to write on it. Okay, so that's kind of the point. That's the point of these cards, is to be able to write on them. And I think this one I'm going to put another bit of the, well, I don't know. This one's kind of big. Maybe we should put another card on the back. No, let's look for something different. Okay, this is nice, and that's light enough to write on. Okay, so let's cut out a piece for this. Or I could use the blue and show you guys how the blue ink works. Nah, I like this one best. We'll use the blue ink at some point, just to show you, even if I only do a piece of paper. Okay, just specifically to show you. Okay, and I'm going to make this smaller than this. Okay, and then sometimes too, you know, I might cut out a little flower or something to put up in the corner. I'm really keeping it simple with this one, so I'm probably not going to do stuff like that for this journal. I'm just trying to kind of keep it simple, and you know, I don't know, putting flowers and stuff just on the edges doesn't seem to me to be really fitting of this style, but I may change my mind at some point. We'll see. Okay, so see how I'm getting it on this one, and I'm also getting it on the edge of the back of that photo too. I don't know if you can see where that photo is, but I'm kind of doing it all at once. It'll save me time in the end. I don't really want that round thing there. There we go. And I won't have to do so much on those photos if I already have the edges done on them. Those are going to be kind of big journaling cards to fit into some of our bigger pockets. Okay, so that can be set aside, and that's ready to go on there. I think I'm going to cut off the corners of that. Just help it fit a little bit better. And same thing with the gold one. This gold paper is actually from another journal that I did that recently sold. It was my favorite journal that I had done so far, and I really had a hard time letting go of it. In fact, the morning that I got the order, I had been lying in bed thinking about it, and I had thought, you know what, I'm going to take that out of the store so that I can use it myself. And then I went and checked my email, and it had sold, so I couldn't, but I can make another one. Okay, let's sew these on. Oh yeah, I think you'll be able to see that. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so this is the olive tree, and we've got this for the back. And I'm going to zigzag right along the edge so that I can leave as much writing space as possible, because it would be kind of hard to write over the stitches, right? You know, and like I said, you can glue it if you want, or even staple it. I just really like to sew. I greatly prefer to sew, so that's what I'm going to do. Well, I had this cold. My nose was hurting so much from blowing it so much, and so Bill loaned me one of his cotton hankies. Okay, ladies, seriously, they are wonderful. My poor nose was so scabby and everything from blowing it so much, and it healed over a couple days of using those hankies. And so since this is an embroidery machine and I haven't learned how to use the embroidery yet, I'm getting some hankies and I'm going to embroider them with it. Is that TMI? Too much information? we have to learn from each other, right? Okay, so this is what it looks like with the stitches on it. And one of the reasons that I like stitching on it is because it just adds some texture to it, and I like the threads hanging out all over the place and everything too. It adds texture to it, and I feel like it kind of makes the edges stronger. So there are other people who think that stitching on it weakens the paper and makes it more likely to tear. So, you know, it's just kind of whatever your philosophy is. Okay, so here's that paper that we're going to put onto this one, which is an olive branch with some olives in it. I hope I'm not getting my face into this because I don't have makeup on and I'm tired. It's Sunday night, and I don't teach all night anymore on the weekends, which I'm really, really grateful for. I get up earlier in the mornings, 6 days a week. I get up earlier in the mornings so I can still teach the same number of classes, and I teach until 11 p.m., from 8:30 to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights, which is, you know, like 8:30 to 11 a.m. in China on Friday and Saturday mornings. No, that would be Saturday and Sunday mornings. And so by Sunday, and Monday's my day off. I take Monday off. So by Sunday night, I am really, really wiped out. And we took a nap this afternoon, which we usually do take a nap at some point. We're old people, so we get to do that. I don't know why I keep pushing this back. Oops, should I unplug it? Okay, there we go. I took a nap and that helped a lot, but I'm still really tired, which is probably because I'm not really over my cold yet. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's another olive tree, and I want to put the line at the top because I can use that for like a title or something. Okay. And I am kind of centering these. I don't usually, I'll try to remember to get one of my journals where I've just kind of put the papers on the back of journaling cards kind of haphazardly because I think it looks really cool. I just really love the way that it looks on them when I do that. But for this, we're just going to be not quite so wonky. Oh, okay, so something else about my students. In China, I can't remember if it's 8th or 9th grade, the kids take a class, a test, that determines whether or not they're going to get into high school or what kind of high school they're going to get into, or whether they're going to go to a trade school. And it's a really major big deal because it really determines their life. So some of my kids are doing that tomorrow, Monday. Well, actually, they are taking it right now because it's Monday there. One of my girls last night told me that she had to go to school Sunday night, which they're 12 hours ahead of us, so that was Sunday morning for me. She had to go to school Sunday night at 7:30 and have a class from 7:30 until 10:30, and then they go to their rooms and they have to be in bed by 11 o'clock, and there's 8 girls to a room, and so she was worried about how she was going to get to wash her face. And then they sleep until 5:30. They're going to wake them up at 5:30. They're sleeping at the school. They're going to wake them up at 5:30, and then their test starts at 6:30 a.m. Okay, and this is like the test that kind of determines the rest of their life. So I'm really praying for my kiddos that are doing that. And I've been, of course, thinking about that all day and praying for them. Sometimes even if you know the material, you can bomb on a test. I don't want any of them to bomb on this one. And I hope that they're at least well prepared for English because I've been working with them. Okay, so that's 4 of our cards. Let's look for some places to put those. These are all olive trees. I didn't even think about the fact that they're all kind of the same. So let's look for some places to put them. There's that olive tree right there, so we're not going to use that same one. So maybe we'll put some olives in here. Okay, and then I've still got a pocket here, but it's too small for this. We're going to put something smaller there. In fact, you know what I might put there? Sorry, I bumped the camera stand. I'm so sorry, you guys. I think I'm just going to put one of my little, I have a whole bag of these 3x5 cards that I cut with the pinking shears and then coffee dyed. You know, it's not, something a little bit bigger could fit there, but not a lot bigger. And so actually maybe I'll put 2 of them. And so it's kind of nice to have some small things like that because they're good for just like writing a verse or just a quick thought on or something. Let's make it 3 because it just doesn't seem to have right to have just 2. Let's put 3 in there. And then, you know, we could just write something like, I don't know, we'll see what we're going to write. Okay, and then I'm going to put this card in that way, right there. Now we could put something in here if we want. It would have to be something small. So I don't have anything right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. We have a sideways pocket there, which is too small for anything that we've done so far. Here's our goat notebook that we made, and the Rita Donnelly flap that we can write on. Okay, we've got something there. That space. We could put, we've got a little notebook here, but we could still put a journaling card here, and we can probably put some more things in there too, and we probably will. So I'm not going to put too much in there right now because we'll probably want to put other things in there later. Here's another goat notebook. And let's see. I think that's a good place for this card. Yeah, so we can put that card right there. And then, you know, there's still space here. We can pull this out and we can write here and write up here. So that card can go in there. And we've got a side pocket here. Okay, and then, ooh, is this too big? That's too big for that. Maybe, I don't really like that there. I'm gonna save that for bigger stuff. You know, you just go through and look for a place that you think is appropriate. Oh, how about that? Right there. We'll just let it hang from there. Okay. All right, so let's set this aside, and what are we doing with time-wise? Okay, we're coming on 28 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'll probably start another video right away because, and I don't know if I'll post it today or tomorrow, but I want to do some more, and I'm going to do some things a little bit different. Love you. Bye-bye.